Have you ever wondered what it would be like in Tanzania? Yeah, me too. Keep watching, you'll find out. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you know me, hello. If you don't know me, welcome. Welcome. Please sit down, watch. Today's video is going to be a comparison between, so it's a collaboration as well. Sorry, let me just add that in first before I get too excited. Anyway, so it's a collaboration between myself and No Limit Eddie. I'm going to put details and everything in the description bar below so you can have a look. He did a video of me recently and interviewed me, and I thought it would be so cute because he's living in Tanzania. Sorry, yeah, that you need that information. He recently moved to Tanzania, so I thought it'd be interesting to do a video where it's comparing the two, so you guys can get a kind of little view as to how the two African countries compare, what's different and what's the same. And I just thought it'd be quite interesting because even for me, I don't know anything about Tanzania, so I just thought that would be quite cool. So there are different categories about Tanzania, then obviously about Gambia, getting around, entertainment and other. Hopefully I haven't missed out anything. If I did, I'll write on the screen. Yes, so you're going to see how it all compares. I hope you enjoy. The language in the Gambia, there are a number of languages and I'm sure I'm going to miss some out. Most people speak English because it was colonialized by the British, so yeah, obviously they speak English for that reason. And then you have other cultural languages like Mandinka, Wolof, Aku, there's loads. Like, I don't know all of them, but yes, so there are other languages. In terms of being able to communicate with people, I find it very easy, more or less. I have mentioned this before. The only things I've found a bit difficult sometimes is on phone calls, because I know that my English accent is quite sharp, I've been told. So they find it hard to understand what it is I'm talking about because of the way that we'll pronounce certain things. So that's the only thing that I've kind of come across. But yeah, in terms of being able to get around and speak to everyone, that for me I found very simple, to the point where it's really not helping me because I'm not learning my own language. So now we're going to flip over to Eddie, and then he's going to talk about the language or languages there in Tanzania.
Language. The official language of Tanzania is Swahili. If you're going to choose Tanzania, you need to learn Swahili. Swahili, you know, is not a super hard language to learn. I'm doing my best to learn it now. But even here in Masaki, which is by far the most touristy area of Dar es Salaam, you run into people who don't speak English. So to get the full experience and to get the full exuberance of being here in Tanzania, you're going to want to learn Swahili. But you can't get by because, again, I know just a couple words in Swahili. I'll speak only English. So you can't get by with just English, but again, you're not going to get the full experience. You're not going to be able to enjoy the country to its fullest capacity unless you know Swahili.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So in Tanzania, their main language is Swahili, as you just saw Eddie mention, which I find quite interesting. So yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna like go on about it because he already explained. So now I'm gonna be mentioning the weather in Gambia. So in Gambia, there's 2 seasons. Unlike the UK, you have, I think it's 4 seasons in the UK. I've mentioned this before. There was a video that I did. I will put a link up here. But anyway, yeah, 2 seasons. So you have the raining season and you have the dry season. The raining season usually runs from, I think it's June or July, up until, when did it stop here? I think it was about October, November, sometime like that. And then you have a dry season, and that is from about October up until June. So the raining season is a bit longer. The raining season is like, yeah, it's super rain. It's not a little pitter-patter rain, it's rain, and yeah, basically we're rain every day. But around that time it is so hot, like oven hot. Like you can't get around and not bust a sweat hot. Well, not me anyway. I know certain Gambians, they don't even sweat, and I'm like, why? And I'm here like dripping, like wow. But yeah, and during the dry season, it's much cooler. In the evenings it can get a little bit chilly, and I know certain people in the UK are not going to be feeling me for saying that, but it's true. So yeah, like you might wear more long sleeve top, a jacket in the evening, but in the daytime it's predominantly quite warm or hot still, but just nowhere as hot as it is in the raining season. So let's see what Eddie has to say about the weather. Take it away, Eddie.
When it comes to Tanzania, by far my most favorite thing is the weather. I landed here in Tanzania, I think at 2:55 in the morning. By the time I got out of the airport, it was like maybe 4 a.m. It was 80 degrees. So no matter if it's daytime, nighttime, it's always warm. It's always like a really good temperature. I prefer the heat, so I hate when it's cold, honestly. I really hate when it's cold. So the weather here is always nice. It's always like 80 degrees. Yesterday it actually rained. She might insert a clip somewhere in here. It rained the other day and it was still warm. Like it rained for like 7 minutes maybe. After that, the sun came right back out and was drying up the rain. So overall, it's a warm area, it's a warm climate. I do hear that there is a rainy season that we're supposed to be in right now, but so far it's only rained once. Most of the time it's hot. Maybe it does have a rainy season, but I just haven't experienced that yet. I've only been here for less than a month. So that's kind of what the weather is like. Hot, I hear it rains. The locals haven't really told me any other things like about tornadoes or about earthquakes or anything else like that. They mostly just said just when it rains, it really rains. So that's all the advice that I've gotten as far as the weather goes.
Wow. So basically the weather's very similar. Yes, I like Eddie. I hate the cold too. As you all know, I've said it so many times. Well, have I said it so many times? I feel like I usually say it all the time, but maybe because I live here I don't really say it. But anyway, I used to say it all the time. I hate the cold. Really don't like the cold. So I'm the same. I don't know what 80 degrees is because I know he's talking about Fahrenheit and I only know centigrade. So I'll have to be looking that up and I will convert it for us people that are in the metric system. But anyway, sounds more or less the same to be fair. And yes, I feel you on the cold. Anyway, so now we're going to be talking about location. See what Eddie has to say about that.
Here is like a traditional Swahili dish. So this is kind of more local food in Tanzania. So this right here is what they call ugali, which I believe is made from corn, but it's kind of like their version of fufu. We got some goats alongside that. I see goats kind of everywhere here in Tanzania actually. But once you kind of get out of the main area of Masaki, you start going to like the more country roads, you start seeing goats everywhere. And then right here it seems like some collard greens and some spinach. It also came with beans. And whatever this is right here.
Yeah.
You notice on this table there is no forks because Swahili food is mostly meant to be eaten with your hands. It's also a big part of the Tanzanian culture. That's why it's like sinks everywhere, so that you can always wash your hands and have clean hands. But we got no limit shade here demonstrating. Get some ugali, watch out for the flies, dip it into some of the beans in this case scenario, and then you pretty much eat it. And so far what I've tasted, the ugali really doesn't have any flavor. It's pretty much flavorless and it's supposed to be, I guess, absorb the flavor of the food that you're eating it with.
Okay, so local food in the Gambia, you can have quite a few range of different dishes. There is super kanja, domada, ebe, and I know I'm missing some others. I'm going to put them on the screen. One thing that I love here is that it's quite communal. When you eat, you have one big bowl and you can eat together. So it's usually, most dishes are usually based with rice, and then we'll have some kind of soup on the top, they usually call it. And there, what was I gonna say? Yeah, soup on the top. Usually from what I've seen, depending on where, I think it's more dependent on where you are. You can either eat with your hands or you just usually eat with a spoon. Generally, I don't really see anyone eat with their hands. You do have fufu here, which was kind of similar to what Eddie had shown in his video. But that you'll definitely eat with your hands. That you can't eat without your with a utensil. But generally, I do see everyone eating with a spoon. I haven't really seen many people with their hands. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying this is all. But yeah, that's it for local food.
Okay, so these right here are the dirt roads. Pretty much, it's just like super hard rocks, and they're covered over with like dirt and sand. So most of the residential areas are kind of just these roads right here, and then on the sides you don't have sidewalks, you just kind of have dirt and trees. So these are like the main roads in the residential areas, but the streets, the paved roads, are more so like for the highways. Now the problem with these roads is that they're not even at all. So you'll see like it's high right here and it gets low, and then right here you can see like there's this super huge divot. Yeah, so you see it's like a super huge divot. So these roads are just not even. But in most residential areas, this is kind of what the roads are like. All right, now these right here are the paved roads. So you can see it's kind of loud because it's a busy place, but the roads are actually paved like how they normally would be. And then this right here is kind of the land off to the side. Here there is no sidewalks. The only area that I saw that had sidewalks, like how we're used to them in like the US or the UK, was Masaki. Everywhere else just had these off the road paved parts, and then the regular roads. So yeah, these are the regular roads. See how cars can drive on them nice and smooth. It's kind of like the highways here.
Main highway, they have pavement. I think this is like the only street, you can see all the taxis, that has it, besides some places in Banjul. But yeah, so on the main road here you've got pavement and tarmac roads. Other than that, you have dirt roads, what I'm walking on now. So pretty much the same as in Tanzania, to be honest. I'll show you. So yeah, same, where it can go up and down. Sometimes there's a lot of sand in certain parts, sometimes it isn't. Like here it's quite sandy. Yeah, so very much the same as Tanzania. Can't believe it, hey? Everything's the same, Eddie.
Alright, so when it comes to transportation here in Tanzania, there's two ways to call it. You can use an app, or you can go on the side of the road and negotiate. Me personally, I prefer the app because I don't like the I don't really know what's the fair price to go from one place to the next place. So the app will tell me basically what they deem is a fair price. I normally use an app, and that's called Bolt, B-O-L-T. Now on this app, you can basically call the main forms of transportation, which is a Bajaji and a Boda. So the Bajaji is like a 3-wheeled car / motorcycle. I prefer that one because it's fast, because it can dip and dodge out of the cars, but at the same time, it is safer than a motorcycle. Now, other than that, if you want to go on the side of the road, you can go on the side of the road and negotiate. I would say you probably should look up the price on the Bolt app and then take that price to the people and say, this is what I want to pay for this ride, XYZ, XYZ. Now, that's pretty much the way you transport yourself. Oh, Uber. Uber does work in Tanzania as well, but it's just Bolt, I find, is
okay,
better.
So it's quite interesting how the transport is in Tanzania. They have I think it was called tuk-tuks, or I can't remember what it's called now. Yeah, so anyway, in the Gambia we've got mainly taxis. So I just thought I'd show you an example. So you have those ones, you see those yellow taxis there? Those are generally what people use. Also, there are, I'm not sure if I'm going to get a view of one, there are these little buses that people can get on. They're like vans, but they've been changed into little buses, but I can't see any at the moment, otherwise I can show you. If I do see one, hopefully I can film it and then I can show you. Yeah, so that's how we get around here. I forgot to mention, we do also have the same transport that they have in Tanzania. It's just not as popular here. I'm hoping I can get to see one, so I can also show you that. So hopefully I can put in I don't know what they call them here though. Yeah, one of those, and also the buses that I mentioned, and I'll insert them on the screen so you guys can see. Sorry, I'm like literally looking at the traffic, trying to see if I can find it, but hey, just see one there. That's one. Yes, so that was the bus. As you can see, the traffic's moving kind of fast, so kind of hard to catch them.
Okay, so when it comes to Tanzania and tourist attractions, there's a lot of them actually. So being that Tanzania again is a country in East Africa and it borders the Indian Ocean, there's also a couple of islands. They have 3 islands actually, the most popular of which is Zanzibar. Zanzibar, people actually just fly straight into Zanzibar, don't even come to the mainland sometimes because it's that much of a tourist attraction. And just like most other African countries, of course, they have, like you hear the birds behind me, they have a lot of wildlife here. And there's something called the Great Migration, and it passes through Tanzania twice actually on the going and then on the coming. So that's also a very, very popular tourist attraction. It's like the safaris and different animals and the wildlife that this country has to offer.
Wow, do you know what's so funny is that I have been wanting to go to Zanzibar for the longest. It is stunning, but yes, as Eddie said, in terms of Tanzania having a lot of tourist attractions, there are also a lot here. I have done a video on it beforehand. I will put the link above the card. But I think what is one of the, well, two, I feel like two of the kind of main pools here is Kunta Kinte Island, which is in that same video I've mentioned. And also they have the same birds. So where Eddie mentioned about the birds migrating, I don't know if that is also part of passing through here, I'm not sure. But anyway, the Gambia is known for having like a vast amount of birds here. Like I see them all the time, they're absolutely stunning. So I feel like those are probably the 2 main tourist attractions, although there are plenty. So yeah, do go and watch that video.
Okay, so let's talk about the club scene. First thing you should know, drinking age here in Tanzania is 18 versus where I'm from is 21. So you can drink here while you're a little bit younger. While we're speaking about drinking, there is a lot of actually Tanzanian brewed beers here, which I like, which is cool. I don't drink, but they do have them here. And then as far as alcohol selection, there's a lot of alcohol available here, which was honestly surprising to me because the country is like 50% Muslim, 50% Christian. So I didn't think there would be as much alcohol here as it is, but it is a lot. As far as clubs in themselves, I actually turned 21, I think, last year. So I really didn't go to clubs in the US to be able to compare them to clubs here in Tanzania. But also, I mean, I'm not a club type of person, so I didn't really go to any out here either. But the people who I did speak with, who are expats from the States, said like the club scene here is actually super lit, and that they enjoy it. So there's a large club scene here. With me being in a touristy area, I hear the clubs, like during the weekends, I hear the American music playing super loud in the background and stuff like that. So there is a club scene here. I can't tell you firsthand about it, but definitely there's a nightlife type of vibe here.
Okay, so unlike Eddie, I do like to dabble and go out every now and again, and I also do like to drink. So yes, I know firsthand of what the club scene's like here. Yes, there's quite a few. There's quite a few clubs, there's quite a few bars. I think there's more bars than there are clubs. And yes, as the same as Tanzania, there's a variety of different music. There's a big Jamaican music scene out here. Everyone loves reggae, dancehall, etc. That's really big out here. But also you do have like other music. You can find hip hop, you can find R&B, Afrobeat. The only thing that you can't find, and this is for my UK viewers, there's no garage, there's no house, there's no funky, and that I can't lie, I miss. But yes, yes, and there's also alcohol available here. I do not know what the drinking age is here. I think maybe because I'm just old now, so it's not something I need to even think of. But I don't know. I assume it's the same as in the UK, 18, just because it was colonialized by the British. So I just assume so, but I don't know. But yes, so in terms of the correlation is quite similar. I would assume Tanzania might be bigger because the country is bigger. I assume there might be more. Here is more like a bit more smaller. It's more like a village. So yeah, but I do like it. It is nice going out. Everyone just loves to just enjoy themselves. It's quite free. It's really nice. It's nice. I can't lie. So yeah. That's the club scene.
All right, and when it comes to restaurants, there is pretty much an unlimited amount of them. There's like local restaurants, like the one that I filmed earlier, And then there's restaurants that are more different, you know, that are like more American foods. This one that I'm at right now serves like a mix of American and Lebanese foods. So here's like a little bit of the scenery. They have a cool water fountain there, some cool greenery all along here. Then they even have like a kids play area back there.
Yeah, very similar. Very, very, very similar. We have a vast amount of restaurants here. Yeah, there's a lot. And you have so many different types. What did I come across? Oh, there's Mexican, there's Lebanese, there's sushi, there's your burgers, there's Jamaican, I believe there was Chinese, I'm not sure if it's open anymore. There's more European food. There's lots of local food. Yeah, there's a vast amount of food options here too. And they're in different parts. So you don't have to just be obviously in the tourist area, like they're all over. And there's quite a lot of really nice food too. So yeah, you have a range. So there should be something to suit everyone. And in most places you can get chips. Oh yeah, there's Italian, pizza. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Right, when it comes to COVID regulations, man, that is probably one of the biggest reasons people are choosing to come to Tanzania. You know, rest in peace to John Magufuli. While he was in charge, he recently passed, but while he was in charge, he declared the country to be COVID-free. Therefore, there is no mask mandate, there is no quarantine mandate, there is no curfew, there is nothing like that. So the country here is probably the freest country in the world right now because they have declared themselves to be COVID-free. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why people are looking at Tanzania a lot more than they were in the past.
So, right. COVID restrictions, it is so different to Tanzania. As you just heard Eddie speak about it, basically there's nothing and it's just been normal and everything's been fine. Here in the Gambia, it's not been the same. In terms of the restrictions, I'm not going to go into how many people have it. Yes, you've had to wear masks to go into certain shops. It has kind of relaxed a bit more. There was a time where every shop you went into, you had to wear it. There are some bars you go to, especially Rio's, where they'll take your temperature before you go in. And that's the same with some shops. And they'll ask you to put some hand sanitizer on. They're also, during the period when I got here, they had the state of emergency, which meant that the borders were closed, but they were only letting in certain residents, and if you had businesses here or if you had a partner here in terms of like married, a spouse, and what else? Yeah, there was also a curfew. So from 10 in the evening till 5 in the morning, you were not allowed to be outside. So there was also that. So currently, I had mentioned actually that there was going to be another lockdown, but that's not happening. From what I've understood is that it was just a fact of that the police were not going to be issuing any more licenses to any new concerts or gatherings that wanted to host some kind of event. So if you had one prior to the 8th of March, I believe, then you're fine. It can still go ahead. So right now it's just normal. Bars and clubs are open, restaurants are open. Yeah, everyone's just out and about. There's nothing different besides like having to wear a mask to 1 or 2 places, as you actually saw me have to do when I went to the TAF office, which I'll put a link here. Shameless plug. Anyway, yes, so yeah, that's it for that. I think now we're going to be moving on to, I can't remember. I'll put it here somewhere.
Okay, so really actually just got done doing a budget. I believe as far as expenses go, I would say, I haven't fully calculated it, but I would say around $600 a month is what I would expect to pay. And that would include like my phone bill. I'm using Google Fi. It's a great international plan. If you think about moving out of the country, Google Fi is good. That would include having a housekeeper who would, you know, cook and clean. We actually just got a housekeeper. And so Yeah, that would include a housekeeper, that would include our electricity, our water, our internet, everything like that. Basically just our full living expenses, including food. I would say around $600 a month is what I'm going to estimate and guess. But again, I haven't moved in yet, so that might be more or might be less. But that's kind of what my estimate is as far as just cost of living. East Africa in general is usually a lot more affordable. So yeah, I would say around that price. And it's crazy because in LA, I was paying $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. And I was able to get a 6-bedroom house with a chicken coop, with a servant's quarter, with fruit trees all around for $400 a month. So yeah, but here you do have to pay things ahead of time. So I would say housing is a lot more affordable than it was, especially in LA. I would say the bills are a lot cheaper except for the internet. I'm actually paying more money here for internet than I would be paying in the States by around I was paying around $22 a month for internet, but now I'm paying around $53 a month for internet here. Food is a lot more affordable, and the cool thing about the food is you can actually negotiate prices with like the vendors and different stuff like that. So food is a lot more cheap as well, or a lot cheaper as well. So pretty much everything here is a lot more affordable than it was in LA. And so while in LA I needed to make around like $3,000 a month to kind of just live a basic life, I would say here if you're making anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month, you'll be living US dollars. You'll be living pretty comfortably.
Right, so expenses. There are quite a lot of similarities to Tanzania. The internet is definitely more expensive here as well, or is one of the most expensive things. And I think it's also dependent on the provider that you choose. But it's one of those things where, you know, the more you pay, the better it should be, if anything. I think it should run from about $2,000. I'll convert that because I can't even remember what that is now. Yeah, so about $1,000 is about 15 pounds. So yeah, other things though are, yeah, like quite affordable, same. So food is quite cheap, and like you can get a plate of food for about $50, $100, something like that. Where the current rate, I think in terms of the UK anyway, I think it's like $70 or $71 to a pound. In terms of house expenses, I can't really speculate because, as most of you know, I'm not living by myself. I'm living with my parents at the moment, you know, until I'm able to live by myself. But it's not that expensive. I think it would probably be around about the same amount, about 600, 700, maybe even, I think between 500 to 700 pounds a month. You should be good. Yeah, and that includes like all your bills, if you want someone to come and clean your place, food, and also if you'd like to go out, you know, to have a drink or whatever for socializing. Yeah, I would say possibly, but again, please don't quote me because I'm not that sure. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else there is. Yeah, because taxi fares are generally quite affordable.
All right, this is a question that I honestly get a lot. I'm pretty sure Aisha gets this question a lot too. What kind of jobs are there? Like, what do you do for work over there? Like, a lot of people have the concept that you need to work a 9-to-5 job. If that's you, coming back to the continent may not be for you, because it's not a place that you come to seeking employment. It's a place that you come to looking to create employment. And so you got to do that little bit of a mental shift, right? So for me personally, I do most of my stuff online. I do YouTube, I sell stuff on a platform called Etsy, and then most recently I'm getting into selling courses, you know. So therefore all my income comes from online. I know also, like, if you are a retired veteran, I think you get like money every single month. That'll be good to come over here with as well. But if you're a younger person like me, I'm only 21, so if you want to come over here and you're kind of younger, you don't have any retirement, you don't have any, you know, money coming in a consistent basis from, like, I guess the government, I guess, the best way to do it is to get started with online businesses. Are there jobs here? Definitely there are jobs here, but again, I think it's a place that you come to create jobs rather than to seek jobs.
Yes, Eddie is right. I have been asked this question before. Jobs. So, jobs in the Gambia. Do you know what? I'm still yet to know exactly, but you can like apply for certain jobs, like say within the bank. I know that much. So there are jobs, yes, but the pay is not what you would expect. So I think like in terms of jobs such as working in a bank or hospitality, working in healthcare, i.e. doctor, I'm not sure about nurses, but I think doctors, surgeons, that kind of, or dentistry, those type of jobs. Also legal, lawyers, judges, that kind of job, those kind of jobs. I think those are the ones that are most kind of, not desirable, but those are the ones that I would say that, you know, you can apply for and attain. I'm sure there are more, I'm just not that sure. There definitely are obviously jobs like waitressing and chef work. The only thing is like those type of jobs are usually more prevalent during the tourist season. So when it isn't the tourist season, it would be basically no job in that kind of area. Whereas if you're in dentistry, doctor, lawyer, working in a bank, etc., those kind of jobs will, you know, still be available no matter what time of year it is. So my advice would be more to come here in terms of trying to set something up for yourself, because I feel like that's probably the best avenue to go down. I don't know how easy it is to get certain roles. However, my video that I did at TAF, I'll put the card up, I spoke to a gentleman there, Mamadou Njai. He applied for his job, I believe before he left America, at TAF. So there are certain jobs that you can definitely apply for, but I think they are quite specialized. I don't believe that, you know, you could just pack up, come here and then expect to just get a certain job. And obviously, please, there's no expectations of having the same salary or even an equal salary to that of in the UK or in the US or wherever you are in terms of where you're watching this. It will be different, and especially in terms of if the currency of wherever you are living is higher in comparison to here, then, you know, obviously you're going to expect quite a drop. Doesn't mean that the money is not any good, it's just the way that the currency works. So yeah, but me personally, I have created my own job. I am obviously, you know, doing YouTube, which gives me a little bit of change in my pocket, nothing to shout about at the moment. And then I've got my interior design, which I'm currently doing, and I have vlogs about that. So yeah, I think that's the best way to answer the question. But if anybody wants to correct me if I'm wrong, go right ahead.
Okay, so when it comes to water and electricity, right now I'm at Airbnb, but I actually just got my place out here. The owner of the property kind of walked us through how the bills and everything work. So here, electricity is prepaid. You have a meter and you load money onto that meter, and then from there you use it down. The owner of the property basically said around $50,000 a month for electricity should be good, which is around like 20 bucks. And you know, you can kind of adjust and see how much electricity you're actually using or not, but it's prepaid, which is a lot different than it was in the States. In the States, you just use electricity. At the end of the month, you get a bill, you pay that bill. Here, you basically prepay the bill, if that makes sense. Water is the same way pretty much. Water, they say, is going to be around 20,000 shillings a month, which is around 9 bucks. But here, everybody has these super big black plastic containers that store water. So you'll get like the city to pump the water in those containers, and then you'll store them. And then at that point, you have a water pump that'll take it from the storage container to a big black container on top of the house that'll then feed the water into the house, like into the showers, into the sink, and all kinds of stuff like that. Another place that I got in particular, I think it has around 15,000 liters of water storage, and then it has another 5,000 liter container that collects just rainwater. So usually you're gonna have a lot of water stored up, just in case for whatever reason the electricity is out and the water won't, the water's not coming in from the city. You usually have a lot of water stored up. So
Yes, that's kind of how the water and electricity work. So you might pay around 50,000 shillings a month for electricity, which is like 20 bucks, and then you might pay around 20,000 shillings for water, which is like 9 bucks.
Okay, so water and electricity supply, it's very similar, if not the same. There's also a machine here that you top up. You can obviously top it up to however much you want. Don't know the type of money that you could put in there. Like, I mean the amount, I don't know. I'm so rubbish, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, so you have the machine, and they also have that in the UK anyway. Depending on your level of income, you can have a meter. So it's kind of similar to the UK in terms of that. With the water supply here, you have two options. So you have the same thing where you have the big tank that's usually up on the still. But you can either have whole water, which will be free, or you have the water provided by the government, now at water. Yes, so it's the same in that instance. I don't know, I feel like Eddie, you're so good at all of these like numbers and stuff. Like, that's not me, I'm not that vibe, I don't know. But yeah, so it's the same in that sense. Also, I forgot to ask Eddie this, but it would be good if once you see this, maybe you can comment. What's the supply like in terms of, do you get power cuts, do you not? Here we do definitely get power cuts, and it can depend on which area you live in. Some places is really, really bad, some places not too bad, some places quite good. Like, it just depends, which I've learned. Yeah, so sometimes the electricity can cut out and it can be for hours. Sometimes it can be for minutes, never longer than that as far as I know so far. Yeah, so, and in terms of the water, depending on how your water is pumped into your house, if it's via an electricity supply, then obviously that will get cut at the same time. Yes. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. So, what have you thought, guys? What are your thoughts on Tanzania, and what are your thoughts on Gambia? Which one do you think you would like to visit, or would you like to come and visit both? Have you visited Tanzania? Have you visited Gambia before? I know myself, I'd love to visit Tanzania. It has been on my bucket list. Actually, I don't have a bucket list, but it needs to be. I need to maybe make one. But anyway, it's been on my list of places to go, put it that way. And from what I hear, it seems very similar to here. So I love that, and I really look forward to going and visiting. Yeah, tell me what you think. Did you learn anything new? I know I definitely did. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, because I actually really did enjoy that. I'm so sorry it took me so long to put this together. This was supposed to have been put together for a little while, so yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in my next video. And thank you, Eddie, for collaborating with me. I'm very grateful. All right, take care, bye, guys. Bye. Take care, guys. Bye.